Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. This time I would like to talk to you about a strange plan, maybe just an idea, of a missing subject on the market, and something that I really like to have in my collection, if only I could. So I'm talking about the first Lotus Elise. It was what they call it, Lotus Elise S1, and it is a subject that of course don't exist available in 1/24 scale. So I just crossed eBay a couple of weeks ago and I found probably her poorest sister, that was the Vauxhall speedster, produced in the same period of the first Lotus Elise. In reality this car shared the same wheelbase and many components of the chassis, and many important parts of the car were in common, the windshield and the main frame, of course. What was absolutely different, making the two cars completely different in reality, was the appeal of the Lotus. That was absolutely, in my opinion, and I think was about all the people that took it, was much nicer than the Opel, what we call it in Southern Europe, or the Vauxhall, as it is called in UK. But and the engine was absolutely different in the way that the German Opel had already at the time of the Lotus S1 available a much more powerful unit. That was the turbo one. I think it features about 220 horsepower, so it was kind of much more powerful car compared to the ordinary standard Lotus Elise. Elise S1 was available, I think, in 120 horsepower, then 160 for the 111S, and 180 for the biggest Exige, I don't know what they call it. And so the idea was mostly, I'm basically following two main roads, or I can make it, or I can give the tip to somebody that is skilled in do the stuff using a 3D printer and prepare a body to make this important car, or going in the old-fashioned way, doing what? Doing the most obvious stuff that for me is the way to have this car, and should be to backdate and convert this welly die-cast 1/24 scale, strip it completely, use it like a base for the creation of a Lotus Elise S1 body, And so we will see, because I keep in touch with some designers and so on. We started to talk, but I still don't understand if they want to do, if they can do, if they don't want to do. So it's usual of my way is always to talk with people and see if they can do something good. And of course I can absolutely, for me the best ever should be that if somebody do that, I can simply keep in touch and buy the item, like I do for the stuff that I like. So simply buy the model, whatever it is. But sometimes it seems a little more tricky and complicated, and I don't like to cross so much in other people's condition and situation and problems, and I had to do this and that before, so we will see. So my way, that I just regret I didn't do at the time of my Porsche 991 RSR. I made the 991 back in time using Fola decals, and I still regret that I didn't made in resin at the time that body shell, because in my opinion it was absolutely the nicest one I've ever seen. I've seen also the other body shell available on the market, but they are too much related to the slot world and to the stuff they are meant to be used for. So usually they made a body part, the carrosserie, and you have to place it over a racing body shell, so the details is never on the same level of the stuff that we excluding some guys that are around that makes dream models from nothing, but the ordinary stuff that you usually take from slot racing body is not so well done as the stuff that we can buy in the static boxes and our ordinary stuff, or even better maybe, because they surely changed. That was the idea and the meaning of this kind of video, to try to understand why back in time the subject as this Elise welly, this Chinese company, of course, everything is coming from mighty China, you know. They are incredible down there, they do everything, you know. And in this scale, the Elise only existed in the S2, that was the second version, with a completely different body, and was another car, you know. Also in reality was much better, started to use the Toyota engine, so it was absolutely a better car, and much more improved, you know. It was a car more modern, we can say, you know. I think it was stuff of the beginning of the, well, what was the year, 2002, 2003, when they had that Lotus. Instead, the first one, that was the S1, the Elise, was under the Romano Artioli administration. So in the Elise was the English version of the Italian name Elisa, that was the daughter of Romano Artioli, and he dedicated that mighty Lotus to his daughter. And, and this is something that is missing. You know, I think there is an ugly die-cast in 118, and something beautiful but about the racing version of the Elise S1, but nothing in the level of the stuff that we like today. And I'm sure that these kind of models that Welly made, because this kit, it is like in the real stuff, it is very, very related to the Lotus Elise S2 that Welly did nowadays. I think it's more than 20 years ago. The only problem is that when you get this model, even with a foolish idea like mine to completely strip off the body and just maintain maybe the wheelbase, plastic parts, you know, this is a toy that costs nothing, you know. This is stuff that you find in eBay, I think for $20, neither that, you know. But what I have to say, it is that probably when they back in time started to do these models, the situation was surely different than today models. I try to explain this idea. I mean, when I started to work over the 991 that I made, there is the video in my galleries, and you can see the creation, you know, of that car. It is the white one with the decals about the anniversary, so I guess it was related to a car of 2013. What it surprised me was the quality that Welly had over such body, you know. And when you open the Welly diecast of the 991 RSR, always consider that we are talking about a diecast that is around $20, so they are not the high level one, they are just the ordinary toys that kids, like when I was a kid, started to game a lot until they completely became destroyed, you know. They disappear in the set. They had an horrific destiny in the hands of kids, you know. But the quality of this 991, they made the 991, I think it was both the GT3, I guess, or the ordinary Carrera 4 or Carrera 2, you know. But the body was impressively well done. It is exactly precise and really, really well done. You clearly see that the company, this Chinese company, Welly, that probably can be related to a company that I worked with many years ago, that had a production down there in China, and it was a giant company making all the kind of diecast. I remember that I am talking about the 90s and so on, when they had to plan about the production of that models. It was just around the price you wanted. You want the item to be priced at the end, you know. I mean, if you pay them to develop an item that should cost $5, the quality is $5. If you play something like for example the production of CMC, and there is so many around, and also which was the other one that made the P4 in 118, stunning model, you know. We're talking of models that are about $300-400, so it's something very pricey, and it's anyway made in China, so the hands are the same. It just depends, of course, how much do you wish to pay for the item, because if this item should be absolutely well done and whatever, it's different if it is for $20 or if it is for $200-300. So of course there is a difference in the price range, you know. But that Porsche, the body of the 991, that is today is another toy of this level, so it's anyway something that you buy for that few bucks, you know. But the quality is absolutely better than this one. So I'm absolutely sure that back in time they did this car, this speedster, and the Lotus Elise S2 that was available in yellow, if I'm not wrong, many years ago. Now I just ended buying this model because I suspect that, because of what I'm saying, they know that the quality of that model is not at all at the level of their last production. If you take the last AMG Mercedes, the last Porsche, the last big SUV that they do, they are incredibly well done. Instead, this one is absolutely not so well done, and you clearly see that in the Opel Speedster is still a little higher because the car was absolutely squared. But you see that there is so many parts that don't fit at all to the real item. First of all, what I noted, I try to have a very, very good impression from the proportion of the car, and I seen it at once that there was some parts that were absolutely not matching to the real object. I had a friend back in time that had both this real, the real one of this Speedster and some Lotus, including some big Exige, also the last one with the big volumetric engine. So he had all these kind of cars, and he was a car fanatic, spent a lot of money in real cars. And what impressed me at the time was that the height of the car back in time was absolutely lower. I mean, all the car was completely in this line, was absolutely a blade very, very near to the ground. It was incredibly low, as well as if you look the car from above. Also, this was absolutely different in the real Elise and the Speedster. If you look closely to the car, this model made by Welly is basically squared, so parallel lines. You don't have the real body shell. If you don't believe what I'm saying, trying to go in Google and search for Opel Speedster, or even better, Lotus Elise images, and you will see at once that the fenders are much more wider and coming outside from the line of the body, and all the proportion of the car is slightly different. Of course, they are just talking of a toy, so it's okay. I mean, it's like you buy the little Hot Wheels and so on. As well as in the montage of this diecast, I don't know which is the guy that mounts this stuff, but probably, if it is something that you have to pay $20 in eBay, it means that it's worth it. Then it means the production in the beginning is $1, so the proportion is that when you go deep inside the production of these toys. So you cannot pretend so much, absolutely, but the mounting is of course also here, if you look it closely. Also here there is a mistake, and the windshield in a Lotus Elise Opel Speedster is never so tall. It should be here, it should be much more lower, also because the car had back in time a hardtop that should be in this line. So if you take a parallel line, I don't know if you can see it good in my images or not. Here the light is always few. It's not anyway on the same line of this, so surely these have been mounted in the wrong way. And probably if you strip it down the model, disassembling the screw that there is under and so on, and taking away all the parts, you will see that surely inside there is some mess made by somebody that had to build it up incredibly quick and without looking so much at the details and clean the parts. There is molding lines. So I mean, it's okay, but it's disappointing for the shape that I wanted to keep. Probably I don't know if I will go on with this kind of idea or wait somebody else. This is just my emergency exit. I mean, if I see that nobody, years after years, just talking, when you talk with people, they don't go on. They do stuff that we talked about. There is also people that completely changed life, changed the world, changed their wife. I don't know. But if I really want to do anyway, that Lotus Elise is something that I want anyway to do in some way. So if nobody will make it in 3D, I try also to send message to Michael Wang, the guy from Opel Design, and say, but why don't you ever think about that? And he's extremely kind, and he answered to everybody, yeah, my friend, I will do, but they are going on making Bugatti Veyron and all the stuff. So I don't think that the old 1995, 96, I think it was the car, Lotus Elise S1 is seriously on the plan of these people, So we have to see. I have maybe a little more hope for bigger scale like the 118 that is a collector scale, so maybe in that scale they can make something proper, but absolutely no idea if somebody will ever do this in 124. So if nothing happens in the future, I cannot exclude that you will see me making this model as a Lotus Elise S1, and you have to know, because that is not a secret of course, that the point where I was started anyway to have maybe the inspiration or maybe the wheelbase, I don't know, the spaces, I don't know, can be from this low quality Welly first generation diecast toy. So the wheels you see there, neither fixed so well, but what do you expect? So cheap stuff, so cute anyway, so If I will not do it before I strip down the model, now I have too many projects in my schedule, so I don't know if I started now, and in this period I have many other projects that are upcoming. This is just a preview and just a talk that I wanted to do about this matter, you know. But I think Lotus S1 is important. It's a very nice little car, and it's important to keep it like a part of the very nice and important motorsport and automotive items that everyone likes, you know. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next video.